Hello and welcome to another review by Robin the Reviewer. Today we are reviewing the Jackery solar generator. This is the 240 model and it's called solar generator because it can accept input from a solar panel. It can do that as well as being charged from the mains, and it is 240 because of the possible output. So it has a 200 watt maximum continuous output and a 400 watt surge, so it can maintain 400 watts very momentarily. If it continues, it will cut itself out, and it is 240 watt hours. So that is the capacity of the battery inside it. It's a lithium ion 16.8 amp hour battery, and it gives the 240 watt hours of output at 200 watts, up to 200 watts. Obviously you can run much smaller things from it. So the input on the front is a 19 volt input, so that will accept actually anything from 12 to 30 volts, but is provided with a power supply that gives the 19 volts so that you can charge it from the mains. So, as you see, it comes in a nicely presented box, and we shall get into the box and see what we have. As with all these Jackery products, they're well packaged for transport. So we've got the instruction manual, we'll go into that in more detail. We've got a pouch with the accessories in, with the nice Jackery branding and a decent zip. So again, we'll look at that in a little while. And there is the unit. So we can see we've got a decent integrated handle, which makes it very portable. We've got ventilation on the side, nothing on the back, ventilation on the other side. We've got some decent rubber feet, so when it's down it's very stable, and so all the controls are on the front. So we can see we've got the display button, we have got a backlit LCD display, we've got a power button the other side of that, we've got the AC outlet for 230 volts, AC at 200 watts, pure sine wave, so it gives, you can run any appliance from that. You do get some inverters that aren't pure sine wave, they're modified sine wave, and you do have to be careful about the difference. Pure sine wave means that you can run any appliance without any damage being caused to that device that you've plugged in. So might talk about that a little bit more later on. We've got the USB outputs, so we've got two 5 volt 2.4 amp USB outputs, and we've got the input connector. You can see it's like a laptop power supply, which we'll have a look at again in more detail. So let's have a look at the accessories. So here we have the accessory pouch, and we've got a decent zip on this, and inside we've got two main accessories. We've got the cable for charging this from 12 volts, so if we are on the road in a car, we can plug this into the 12 volt socket and the other end into the input, and so we can charge it while we're travelling, which is very handy. And as well as that, we've also got this power supply, very much like a laptop power supply. We've got the same connector on the end, and we've got our 3-pin mains, so that's so that we can charge it at home. And as I say, we can also pair it with the Jackery Solar Saga panels and charge it from solar. So we've also got the user manual, and this is in 5 languages, so we've only got pages 2 to 7 in English, but that covers all the technical spec, what we've got in the box, information about the controls on the front, how to charge it. It gives us some times as well, and use of the output and how long we can run certain devices. So for instance, a 12-inch laptop using 30 watts, we can run around 3.5 recharges, and a 32-inch TV around 3.5 hours, and smartphones obviously recharging from the USB, 25 recharges of those, and about 45 recharges of a small camera. We've also got safety information, which is important to note. And further warnings and safety and information about the warranty. That it is important to fully charge the unit once you have purchased it, and I think there may even be a clause within the warranty which means that it is only valid if you have fully charged it within X days of receiving it, but it's always a good idea anyway. Obviously, once you've purchased it, make sure it runs to full capacity, fully charge it, and I would run devices from each of the outputs to make sure that you have checked everything through. A few FAQs, and of course how to contact Jackery should you need any support. So now it's time to put the unit through its paces. As you can see, there is a protective film over the display, and I have actually turned it on in pressing the film. So you can see on the display you've got a nice capacity battery indicator in the middle with its actual percentage to the right hand side, and you've got both input wattage and output wattage. The display will go off after a period of time of inactivity, but you've always got the display button on this side, and that also brings up the backlight. If we want to use these different elements, so if we want to use the 12 volt, or we want to use the AC, or we want to, and if we want to use the USB, we have to turn on these individual circuits. That's to help preserve the battery, so that we're not running things if we don't need to. So with them all off, the unit will naturally power itself off after a period of time. Now I have plugged the mains adapter in, so if I connect that to the input, we can see we've got the blue light showing that we've got input, and we can see input wattage here is at 59 watts at the moment coming in from the power supply. Obviously we're at 100% battery, or nearly, or near enough 100% battery, so it's not actually going to put anything further into the battery, but it will manage that itself. You don't need to worry about that. You could leave it connected, the input connected all the time, and almost use it as a UPS to prevent any issues if power goes down to a small device that needs to be kept on. So if you've got a router, for instance, or I don't know, a small fridge for keeping medication in, you could have the main that plugged into this permanently, and it's permanently connected back to the mains, and if the mains fails, then you've got the capacity of the battery to support the device while mains is restored. So we'll disconnect that again, and we'll now plug something into it to use the battery and see the wattage going out. So we shall turn the USB on, and I've got a USB to multi-output cable, and we plug that into one of the USB sockets there, and plug that into a mobile phone, and we can see the mobile phone has started to show the charging indicator on the screen, and we can see on the display of the unit we are now using 3 watts. So it knows that the power is going out and the phone is charging. Just saw that it's just gone off. There we go. So the phone is nicely charging. So that's the USBs. And what I can do to show the mains is I've also got a mains to USB charger. So if we now turn the mains on and connect that there, as you can see, we've now again got the mains, got the power going out, and that's now, as you can see the symbol there, that's now charging the phone again, but from the mains. Now if I turn the mains off, it goes to 0 on the display because we're not using any power. And if I wanted to, and I wanted to use the 12 volt, that's obviously up there behind that cover. Best to keep that cover on and to keep little fingers out of that, because their connector is at the bottom of that, with the side being the other pole. So that keeps it nice and protected. And yeah, it's an ideal unit. It's just a nice handy size. You can keep that in the boot of your car and take it out and about. Great for camping, nice handle, easy to shift about, no real weight to it, and gives you plenty of options, particularly if you can charge it from solar. If you can take a small solar panel with you, then you've got a great free source of electricity, keep it topped up. And yeah, with the pure sine, again, let me just reiterate the pure sine. There are lots of inverters on the market, and this basically is a battery plus an inverter all in one. And many of the inverters on the market are modified sine. So they create a very close representation of a sine wave, but it's not perfect. It's not truly like your mains. And modified sine can damage certain types of equipment. It can make certain types of equipment make lots of noise when they're running on it, because it's not a smooth sine wave. This is a pure sine output, and that is important, particularly if you want to run any kind of device on it. You don't want to be restricted. You could run any kind of device up to 200 watts with a peak of 400 watts. So that again is the Jackery Explorer 240 solar generator. Thank you very much for watching.